Did you know that the Detroit River is one of the most diverse and productive fisheries in all of Canada? The Detroit River has fast-moving and clean water, numerous spawning grounds, and lots of food for young fish. In fact, the Detroit River is home to 113 species of fish.
The Detroit River is important because it's a connecting channel between Lake St. Clair and the western basin of Lake Erie, and so it's really that conduit that helps all of the water get through. And it's also important because it's actually a world-class fishery.
The population and the sports fishing that we have here is incredible. The walleye, the bass, the muskie.
I've caught carp, catfish, channel cat, white crappie, sunfish.
People come down from Toronto to catch the silver bass when they're running.
This is a runway between Lake St. Clair, the Thames River, where the fish come in to spawn. Some go back to St. Clair, some go to Lake Erie. And in the fall, they do the same thing.
Because of this, the Detroit River is considered part of the walleye capital of the world.
The run that happens here in the spring is my Super Bowl. That is, I look forward to it every single year. I think almost all average pickerel walleye fishermen in the area, that's what we look forward to.
The habitat improvements made to the Detroit River over the past 3 decades are key to the success of its fishery. More than 14 shoreline softening projects have been implemented along the river to closely mimic the naturally occurring foreshores on the Great Lakes, providing greater environmental value. Additionally, improvements to stormwater systems and stricter legislation on industrial discharges have lessened the contaminants being input into the river and ending up in fish tissues.
Our waters here are so clean now.
Like, I've been a member at the club now for 36 years, and comparing then till now, it's just a world of difference.
One of the most remarkable recovery stories is that of the lake sturgeon.
So lake sturgeon, they typically spawn in areas that are rockier, and so when the dredging channels and the shipping channels were built in the Detroit River, a lot of that rocky habitat was removed. So sturgeon weren't really spawning in the river anymore, and so they're almost extirpated, so that means they were almost gone from the Detroit River. What we've been able to do with our US partners is we actually built a sturgeon reef. We put basically large rocks in various configurations at the bottom of the river with the theory that if we build it, they will come. We found eggs of sturgeon as well as eggs of other fish which have disappeared, such as lake whitefish. It's estimated that about 6,000 sturgeon are now calling the Detroit River home.
Without these sanctuaries, those sturgeon wouldn't have anything. And the sanctuaries are working, and I'm glad to see it.
In 2020, the largest habitat restoration project on the Canadian side of the Detroit River got underway. The northeast shoreline along the biologically and culturally significant Peche Island will be softened and 9 sheltering islands created to provide approximately 10.5 acres of calm water area that fish can use to spawn and forage, and where aquatic plants can establish.
It's designed that the islands will kind of dissipate that freighter traffic and the wave action, and so we'll have a calm water area near the mouth of the Detroit River. And so these areas are pretty rare in this area. It gives me hope. It tells you that we're able to do things to help bring these systems back and help them restore the glory that they once were.
Fish can be an important part of a balanced diet. They are a great source of high-quality protein, beneficial omega-3 fats, and other nutrients.
It's important that people know that fish from the Detroit River is safe to eat as long as it's done within the Ontario Fish Consumption Guidelines. The Detroit River it affects everyone's daily life who lives in the watershed. We get our drinking water from the Detroit River. It provides a recreational enjoyment for people too. There's a lot of people who kayak and boat on the Detroit River as well as fish.
These days and times of everybody going, you do need to hit that pause button every once in a while.
There's so many times you fish that you don't catch, but you still leave happy. Not too many places you can say that.
The health of the Detroit River is important to anglers and for us all. Continued efforts to restore the river help improve our environment and connect people with nature. You can keep the Detroit River clean and healthy.
Not littering, not putting chemicals down your drain, because sometimes that water is not treated before it enters the Detroit River. You can do local cleanups in your park to prevent kind of trash from getting into the river.
Properly dispose of fishing lines, follow catch limits, adhere to the rules for fishing with live bait, destroy caught invasive species, and love your Detroit River.